Definitely some with caretaking energy here with the Empress card coming up as somebody's mentality. And typically this is where, this is your side here. Like I said before, feel free to go ahead and go to the other side if it makes more sense and resonates with you. But the Empress is coming up here, so definitely somebody's taking care of somebody. Um, or very, this situation is looking to kind of manifest, to create, to build a utopia, to be happy, right? To create a really safe space, if that makes sense. And usually the Empress card can be seen as someone that's very caretaking. It can be borderline the codependent route. But since the Knight of Wands is coming up, the only person I kind of can see taking care of anybody is themselves. Not in a bad way. Everybody needs to focus on taking care of themselves, pampering, having fun sometimes even too. And I think that's the focus, right? I think there's a lot of pampering and taking care of themselves. Um, the other person on the other hand is starting and is taking a very light approach to the relationship, being flirty, having a fun, not really looking at the serious notes of everything. I don't think it's a bad thing or anything like that, but because they're kind of coming off as a bit kind of confused or very, or not confused, just kind of very fantasy and romantic, it kind of gives this kind of impression that this person is not coming into this whole situation very seriously. Now, the Two of Cups is your underlying energy, and that speaks to me in very interesting ways. Like, it doesn't look like it's a romantic relationship, not necessarily. This could be friends, this could be, co-workers, this could be anybody that doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic soulmate. And it's considering that this is Let Your Friends Help You, I have a feeling that this is talking about a friend. Now, the Page of Wands, it's a very immature kind of energy, but in the sense of like starting something new, doing something exciting, having a little small adventure or a small spark of excitement. And I feel like the both of you guys kind of have this way about this relationship. I think somebody is definitely way more mature than the other one, but in their own way, like this, like someone sees the other person as a bit of a child, or maybe they see themselves as very childlike, and the other one very much like very old school, nurturing, motherly, and things like that. And that kind of makes this, I feel like this makes this person really want to have more fun, do more things that bring that youthfulness back. Because the Empress, let's be honest, she's having children, she's very, very organized, she's got responsibilities. Then that's, as far as the fun goes, she, knows how to enjoy herself. She understands pleasure and things like that. She is the card, she's got the Venus sign coming up in here, which Venus is the god of pleasure, or the planet of pleasure. I feel like this is about enjoyment of the self and taking care of the self, not necessarily. And I think there's a lot of things that they were, taking care of, things like that. But I feel like there's a more youthful approach. I think this person's coming. The reason why this person has a very, not necessarily immature outlook on life, but more of like a youthful and fun outlook on life is because this, I think it's this person's coming to show this individual how to have a little more fun, you know to get out there, to be okay to be youthful, it's okay to have fun. And I think this is why the Seven of Cups is coming up for this individual here, is because I think this person is great fun, great fantasies, very creative in regards to ideas and things and options to do. And I think the Cancer, this could be you, right? Going along with it, having a good time, really enjoying yourself, really connecting with yourself, and finding what you find passionate and very exciting, right? Getting in touch with your sad side, you're letting loose, and that's being a little more carefree. And I think this, you're coming from a place, well, yeah, you were taking care of yourself, taking care of others, a little bit of, it can be a little uptight sometimes. And considering that you're letting your hair down, having a lot more fun, being a little more carefree, I think that's kind of allowing you to kind of let people take care of you, let people let people in more so than you've ever let anybody in before in a long time. Because where you guys are coming from with this is the Eight of Pentacles. So there's a lot of work, a lot of dedication, a lot of focus being put into relationships, work, lifestyle, yourself, everything. Whatever you've been putting hard work and focus into, you've been really focusing on that. And I think you're doing that same kind of focusing, hard work kind of mentality now, because with your love life, or with your life period, with your fun side, trying to enjoy yourself. And I think you're really trying to work on that. You're trying to work on healthier habits in regards to pampering yourself and having a good time. Now, strength is coming up for this other individual here, which kind of gives me a little bit It's very interesting, and I'm not sensing this person's going through a difficult time, which I can do definitely see that this person that had probably may have gone through a difficult time, which is why they're trying to focus on having fun, not really being very serious. They're allowing that lion part of themselves, that animalistic side, that pure raw energy, to flow, just to be. Because I think they have been kind of keeping it under control for some time, keeping their stuff under wraps, being very disciplined and very organized, very routine for a long time. That they just can't keep that bottled up anymore. They're just letting loose. It's very similar to you, and I think that that's good. I think everybody's having a really good purging period, and I think that's why the two of us are coming in. They're both of you guys looking to have more fun, looking to be more pleasure oriented. I don't typically read the Empress as the pleasure queen, or as someone that's looking to enjoy pleasure, or that understands the necessity to have that sort of feeling of of feeling good. But I do get this feeling that you guys are coming together to connect with that, to connect with the youthfulness, that youthful part, that having fun part, the non-serious aspects of your life, really to just enjoy and to remember why you're working so hard in the first place. And that's what brings you two together, right? We're looking at the Knight of Pentacles, and the Knight of Pentacles does talk about routine, hard work, focus on the practical, you know, this is really, mundane actions towards a project, and it can be slow, it can be extremely tedious, but this is something you definitely committed to, and that sort of commitment, that sort of sense of duty, that sense of routine and responsibility, that's what brought you two together. That mature practical aspect about yourself. So even though the Knight of Pentacles is young and typically a knight and knights are usually immature, that sort of dedication and practicality is kind of immature in the sense of there is no work, there's no play, right? There's no fun, there's no youthfulness. This person's taking their whole life so seriously that they don't have fun. In a way, that in a sense is very immature. This person has too much fun. The Knight of Wands, way too much fun. The Knight of Pentacles, no fun at all. So like, there's no, this person's too childish. This person's too immature. Like, the Knight of Pentacles is so immature. He's not immature. He's not mature because he doesn't understand that there needs to be a balance. And I think that's the thing. The overbearing work that was on your plates, both of you, and the responsibilities that you guys both recognize. And I think you guys came together because you guys can, see each other from the same similar situations, right? You guys can relate to that. And that understanding is what brought you two together. But the challenge that you both face together is having fun, is enjoying yourselves, is connecting with an innocent energy again, going back to that childlike energy. Remembering not necessarily remembering the good old days, but definitely connecting with that youthful energy, remembering why you do X, Y, and Z. Having fun, enjoying yourself, being childlike. That is the hard part, because you have responsibilities. You have things that you have to take care of. This person may have a relationship or maybe have a child they have to take care of, and they have a very youthful connection with themselves, and that helps. That helps with the coping of the situation. But I feel like this is completely and utterly a vacation and letting loose and having fun, and not letting stress of the day and everything like that keep them from enjoying life. Same with you. I think everybody's trying to enjoy themselves, right? Trying to have a little bit more fun, trying to enjoy their life. Because yeah, everything, when you have so much stuff that you have to do, people that you look after, things that like that, you forget why why you do the things that you do. Some of you guys, you may be in a legitimate relationship, and I think you guys are trying to connect in a very romantic way again. The Knight of Cups and the Knight of Wands, excuse me, the Seven of Cups and the Knight of Wands can be very romantic and very exciting, and I love that pairing because they both can really utilize that mystery and the fantasy of the Seven of Cups, and the Knight of Wands can just play with that, right? Just totally tap into that energy. Now you guys have poise coming in for your romance, so it's not your romance angels, but your wisdom of the oracle. I kind of like that because it talks about being ready and having everything that you need to enjoy your situation, to tackle a difficult challenge, right? Or to face a certain situation full fledged. And a lot of the times when we get poise or we get strength or we get the hermit, we kind of go into it thinking that we don't are not good enough, we don't have enough, or even the magician rather. We get we don't have all the tools that we need. We don't necessarily feel prepared, and that's the trick, right? Usually when we're not ready, that's when we're the most ready. And I think that we've become, especially, and you're not the only ones that do this, Cancer. I think we've kind of, especially Capricorns, know if you're doing this. When it comes to work, when it comes to, you know, the balance of life, we can forget why we do things, and that's why we can kind of disassociate and not enjoy our lives the way we should. And Poise is talking about you are more than ready to enjoy yourself. You're more than ready to handle a situation and take a little bit of an easier, kind of more chilled out approach to life. To actually enjoy yourself, to even allow someone to even support you and take care of you, or to have to love on you, to support you in some way. Okay, and even if you do need help, I think that you're ready for that. You're ready to allow people in, to allow people to take care of you. Because the Empress card, she can do everything and anything she herself. But the thing is that she's pregnant. Should she do a lot of those things on her own? Probably not. Why? Because let's be honest, right? Although just because she's independent doesn't mean she should have to stress herself out, throw her back out, do all those things that that could happen if you overexert yourself. And that's the thing. I think there's a lot of overexertion, and I think there's just this need to just kind of take it easy. Allow people to help you, allow people to come in to and take care. Now, sometimes, like I said, this person here, if this is someone else, that's, get picking up a different situation, if you need this kind of help, and this other person is kind of like, kind of doing other stuff, then yeah, it can kind of feel like you can't really lean on the individual. But it all starts by communicating, and you're ready to communicate and prepared to handle what comes your way. But that's for very few of you guys. I don't think that's going to resonate with very many of you. But the point of it all is that, yes, more than ready to have fun, more than ready to relax, more ready to seek some help and support. Because doing everything that you guys do, it's important to remember why you do them by having time and enjoying yourself and connecting with that young and youthful energy. And this is the soulmate. This is another soulmate card as well. So Two of Cups, Six of Cups. Those cards are both soulmate cards, and I find that very interesting that they came up together.